gentlemen, welcome back to Dark and Stormy Nights. This is Loki.
And this is Tyr.
And today we are planning one of the end chapters.
It's time to start wrapping things up.
So that big battle was kind of the crescendo. The bad guy's been defeated, but we have to, give some closure. So people tend to like that closure thing.
They do. So in the aftermath of the battle, Annalise is dead.
Yes.
Rowan is severely injured.
Yeah, now we're going to change. When I read it, she had her jaw broken, but we think we're going to change it to she's stabbed, right?
Yeah, something a little bit more lethal.
So she's dying of her injury, and we're going to say the contract isn't what kills her, being tied to. It was Annalise's attack. It's Annalise's attack that puts her in mortal danger.
So Rowan's dying on a battlefield. Annalise is dead. Shayla is now running a wolf pack.
Yes.
She is the alpha. And so Elliot has just woken up. Shayla gave him shit for the stress that he's put her through. And I think that the next step is that Elliot is going to recognize Nigel as the insurance guy. Now, if you'll remember way back when,
right,
when Pops lost his pizza shop that Elliot was originally working at, and he went to the hospital. There was an insurance man who showed up at his hospital room and gave him enough money to retire.
Right.
Which, in turn, took everything that Elliot had left and nudged him into the path of the Combine and working for them and apprenticing with Lee and that whole thing. Basically, we wouldn't have had a story had Pops just been like, let's reopen the pizza shop. You can come back to work for me.
Right.
And so Elliot is going to recognize that insurance man that changed his fate is, in fact, Nigel. So we kind of have to deal with that whole scenario. How is Elliot going to react to the fact that Nigel is, in fact, the person who nudged him into this path?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be funny, like, why the fuck is the insurance guy here?
Right. And so, like, yeah, I mean, he's going to have
Did
that.
Did he see the insurance guy in that chapter?
He did see the insurance guy. They crossed paths, like, right when he went to visit Pops. The insurance guy was walking out.
Yeah.
And then Pops explained, you just missed it. Like, I got all this money.
I'm
taking it. I'm cashing out. I'm moving to Florida. I'm retiring.
So now you'd be like, why the hell is the insurance guy here? Did you guys take insurance out on me? Like, what the fuck?
So, yeah, at this point, he kind of needs to be like, aren't you the insurance guy for Pops's, pizza place or whatever? And it's going to have to come to light that insurance guy is Nigel. And that Elliot's only seen him in his glamour, his tattered bathrobes and his mullet and his coffee cup. So the question is, how is Elliot going to react to the fact that little bit of deception?
Right.
That literally changed his life, quite possibly. Especially in the wake of almost dying.
I think he might be pissed, but I think it also might almost, like, it's overshadowed, of course, by the fact that he saved his life, and it's also overshadowed by it doesn't fucking matter because now Nigel's about to be promoted soon, and he's not going to be his liaison anymore.
Also, would Elliot really give this life up? All the people he's met, all the things that he's learned, this family. He literally gained a family that he didn't have before. And while the moral of the story kind of was always, not the moral, but, the point in the story was always debt for Lee, it was family for Elliot. He was lonely.
Yeah, it was him and Pops, pizza place and weed. Right,
and we brought up early on that his family was gone and he had nobody else. And so, and, like, even we echoed it when we did the, the chapter with the djinn. Do you remember that? He was talking about how his desire wasn't, love or money. It was a family.
Right.
So, so for Elliot, while the path has been rocky, it's also brought him something that he wanted more than anything.
Right.
So while there might be a little bit of a, what the hell, man, there's also a lot of, he wouldn't trade this path for, a lonely life of weed and pizza.
Right.
So, So we'll have to deal with that between the two of them. And then perhaps after that, Elliot goes to the window to overlook all of like what happened in the battlefield. And he sees like the aftermath. He sees the Fomorian army being rounded up. He sees the injured being taken away. And he sees Rowan, bleeding and being taken away by some Fey healers. And maybe Ren comes to him or somebody, tells him that, what happened to her.
Right.
And that she didn't have a choice, that she knows that it's hard to accept that he was deceived by her.
Right.
But at the same time, like, she wouldn't have had a choice.
Yeah, they'll have to explain Fey contracts to him.
Right. Right. That it wasn't her choice to go into the contract, that it wasn't her choice to betray him, that she literally had no choice.
It's even shadier than like record exec contracts. So.
But even to the extent that Rowan couldn't even defend herself against Annalise when she killed her.
Right.
Or she tried to kill her both times. So you have to think that there's not going to be an instant forgiving, but there's got to be some kind of understanding.
Sure.
And maybe they mentioned the fact that, that Rowan is the one who brought the attention to Annalise, who sent up the magic flare that showed Shayla where she was and gave Shayla the opportunity to save Elliot.
Yeah, her flare is the only reason Shayla ever, knew would have gotten to Elliot in time.
Right. So maybe we mentioned that.
Because without the flare, she wouldn't have taken notice.
Okay. So Rowan's flare was the only reason Shayla was able to save him. Okay. Do we want to play around with this wolf pack thing in this chapter, or do you think
you could do it to where like they're leaving the building to go home or whatever, and the wolf pack is like lined up on either side, like like when the queen is entering the castle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious that she has her own little motorcycle gang now. They give her a leather vest, and it's like too big on her.
There's a limo waiting for her. We stole this for you, miss.
Somebody gets her a sidecar for their motorcycle. Yeah, I don't know. So, like, we can touch on that a little bit. And then there's also the fact that Lee's retirement is shot.
Yeah.
So he is right back in debt. Do we want to address this debt between him and Elliot?
I mean, maybe have Nigel mention it or something like that,
Now, did we make Elliot aware of Lee's debt with Nigel previously? I feel like we did.
We've mentioned it several times. I find it hard to believe that we never
made Elliot aware.
Right. So.
So maybe Elliot would question, am I in debt now to you for saving my life or whatever?
Yeah, okay, good call.
And Nigel would have to explain that, you weren't awake to pay the debt. But yes, the debt was paid.
Right, you were actually in worse condition than Lee was when I saved him. Lee was able to consent. You were not.
Okay, so Elliot would definitely question that.
Because Lee was eviscerated, yes, and dying, but Elliot was in a coma.
Right. Okay, so he's going to question Nigel on whether he owes him a debt now. But Nigel tells him a debt was paid, but not by him.
I mean, what you got to wonder about is if Elliot can contribute to paying off Lee's debt,
I mean, as long as they're working on the same cases.
So,
you know?
yeah, maybe they stay a team.
Right. So, Elliot won't be leaving the team. Elliot's going to have to help him pay off that debt.
Right.
So I could have a conversation between Lee and Elliot talking about, why would you do that? You were almost done, and kind of, look, kid, I couldn't let you die,
Right.
I brought you into this world.
Yeah, what kind of retirement would it be if I,
right,
let you go?
Right. And so maybe like an agreement between him and Elliot that they're going to remain a team and pay it off
right
together.
See, I feel like what we got to do then is the next, if we write the second book of this or whatever, we started out and it looks like Elliot's out on his own, like doing the hunting thing, but then you find out Leah's still with him or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, you could have Lee like undercover with the bad guys or something like that,
Right.
and Elliot comes in to play bounty hunter, and they're like, yeah, fuck you, kid, whatever, and then it turns out Lee's on his side too. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways you could play
or they're
it.
all surrounded by werewolves.
Oh my god, that'd be funny. Yeah, like maybe Shayla's willing to lend her help to their debt as well.
They solve the case. They get the guys. You know the deal, though. We get the cocaine. So, like,
nice.
the wolves walk off with all the drugs.
Then Shayla really is a mob boss.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely think we have to have a couple of like conversations where they come to her and she's like sitting in this chair and like doing the whole.
I think she's making every gangster movie reference.
Right.
The whole,
right.
Say hello to my little friends, or and points out the werewolves, which
right.
aren't very little, and then yeah. Let me make you an offer you
yes,
can't refuse.
exactly. That's what I'm like talking about, like betraying the family and stuff like that.
It's like it was one game of Mario Kart, Shayla. I beat you one time.
Exactly. That will be
Grow
great.
up.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really funny shit we could do with that.
All right, but your chapter is going to basically be from after Elliot is revived to.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be the aftermath of the battle. It's not going to leave like that place, really. I think that it's going to be, Elliot and Nigel's confrontation about who he really is and, what really happened. It's going to be a lot of emotional stress on Elliot, I think.
Sure.
He's just waking up from dying. He's finding out a lot of shit that was kind of, hidden from him on all angles, between Nigel and his part in the path that Elliot's life took, Rowan's part in, lying to him about how things were going down.
Incidentally, I think what works good is I had just done where he was reminiscing, he was remembering his family time, if you will, before he woke up. And now that's something he needs to reflect on to not be absolutely flaming pissed. It's
right, because, a lie is a lie,
right.
So it's hard to not be upset when people that you trusted and cared about weren't upfront with you.
Right, but now you can recall the memories that he was just walking through, and be like, I can't trust you, but...
Like, on one hand, he's going to be irritated, and he's going to be hurt.
Right.
But on the other, he's also going to recognize that he wouldn't trade what has happened.
So what I think we have here is you're going to do the close family wrap-up part, and I'll do the more worldly wrap-up where so in the following one, we'll worry about that next time, but we still need to wrap up.
Yeah, like we'll zoom out a little bit and go a little bit further out.
Right, so Nigel getting his position or whatever.
The wrap-up with the Combines and the Rebellion.
And then the potential threat, that we need to introduce and stuff like that. So
yeah, a lead into maybe a book 2.
Okay, so we're good for your chapter though, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we can pretty much just keep it with Elliot. Like, it's pretty much all gonna be about Elliot and his, everything after waking up.
Okay, great. Then if that's it, we will see you guys next time. So don't forget to check us out on Twitter at The Dark Stormy K1, on Facebook in the Facebook group The Dark and Stormy Nights. That's with a K, Knight. And we're also on at The Dark and Stormy Nights on Reddit. You can find us anywhere podcasts can be found, and we have a YouTube channel. So go check us out, like, subscribe, follow, comment, everything. Just tell your friends and family, and we're fantastic. They'll all love us. Give the gift of free podcasts to your family and stuff for Christmas. So, we'll see you next time.
Bye.